Alright, hi everyone, welcome back to ASIB. Today we're going to be talking about measures of central tendency. So first, let's talk about the mean. So the mean, sometimes also called the average, is exactly what it seems, right? You take a data set and you find the average. Okay, so now we have our list. We're going to find the mean. So when you're finding the mean, you would usually just add everything up and then divide by the number of terms. In other words, if we were to write this in sigma notation, it would be x bar, which is the symbol for mean, equals 1 over n times the sigma of from I equals 1 to n xi. So all you're doing is you're adding all the terms up and then you're dividing by n. So in this case, how will we find the mean? Well, we would add all the numbers together and then we would divide by 9. So it would be this plus this, plus this, plus this, plus this, plus this, plus this, all in brackets, then divided by 9. So if you do this calculation, you should find that your average is 170.78. Now, if you round to 3 significant figures, it will be 171. Okay, so when the numbers get big, it might be hard and tedious for you to plug in all these values one by one. And it's also prone to errors. So one trick that I like to use is to find the mean, go something like this. So first of all, we're going to choose an estimated mean. I scan through these numbers and I see they're all around 170. So 170, I'm going to write here. That's going to be kind of my guess for what the mean will be. Then I'm going to go ahead and find the difference between each of the numbers and 170. So 167 and 170, that's a difference of -3. 170 and 170, that's a difference of 0. 179 and 170, that's 9. And then 163, 172, 161, 176, 174, and 175. And then I'm going to add this together, then divide by 9. And then I'm going to add this to the mean that I guessed. So if we were to do this calculation, we would get 170, and I can do this calculation. So that's -3, 6, minus 1, -1, plus 1, that's 1, -8, -8 plus 10, that's 2, plus 7, that's 7, divided by 9. And we know that 7 divided 9 is 0.7 repeating, so this would be 170.78, which is 171, just like how we found in the original average. So this method works because, well, it's much faster and it requires less calculation. Okay, so now let's talk about the median. So the median is another way of measuring the central tendency. The median just takes whatever value is in the middle of the group. Now, first of all, you need to sort the group. So let's say we have that exact same data set from before. Right, so that's our data set. First of all, we want to make sure that this is ordered. So I'm going to go ahead and order this from the smallest to largest. Okay, so then what the median basically says, it's just going to take the middle value. So in this case, since there's exactly 9 values, which is odd, we're just going to take exactly the value in the middle. Now, if n is odd, then we're going to take the n plus 1 divided by 2 term. So in this case, since n is odd, we just take 9 plus 1 divided by 2, which is going to be the 5th term. So the 5th term is here. So in this case, the median is 172. Well, what if there isn't an odd number of terms, and instead, let's just say that there's 8 terms now, so we're missing a term. Now we're going to take the average of the n divided by 2 and the n divided by 2 plus 1 term, and then we're going to add them together and divide them by 2. So this is the in term and the term, so you're not actually just doing the addition here. But in this case, since n is 8, the middle 2 terms will be 170 and 172. The average of those terms will be 171. So the median in this case will be 171. And finally, we're going to be talking about the mode. Now the mode is considerably easier. This is just whatever term appears the most frequently. So let's say we have a data set 1, 2, 3, 5, 5, 8, 9, 11. Right? So in this data set, 5 appears the most, therefore 5 is the mode. If a data set has 2 values that appear the most, so if I add another 9 here, then 5 and 9 are both the mode. And let's say that this data set maybe didn't have this 5, then all of these would not be considered the mode, and this data set would just have no mode. Okay, so when would you want to use each type of central tendency? Well, for the mean, you can pretty much use it in most situations, but realistically, it's whether or not you want to choose between using the mean and the median. So let's start with the mode then. With the mode, you usually use it when there's a large data set. This means that there is a large amount of values, and therefore there might be a large amount of repeats. And when there's a large amount of repeats, that usually is going to be in the center. So this is when the mode will probably act as a very good central tendency. Then we have the median. Now the median is good when the data is skewed. So what skewed means is if the data, let's say, looks something like this. So which is what most income levels look like, because you obviously can't have an income lower than 0, but you can have a lot of people with very high income, but you still have the majority here. In this case, using the mean would not really make sense. So you don't really want to use the mean when the data is skewed like this. So in this case, the median would be better because it still finds the value in the middle. And it really just disregards all these values over here. And that's it for today's video. So stay tuned for the next video. We're still going to be talking about stats. And if you like what we do, please leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.